Hey folks, so in this video going to update the BIOS to this Gigabyte H610i DDR4 motherboard. So let's go ahead and get started. Obviously I already have this computer fired up. We're going to use a different computer to get the BIOS file. I'm using this Gigastone 128 gig. It is formatted to FAT32, all right, and it's USB 2.0. Now you don't need one this size, but this is 128 gigs. I have successfully updated probably 50 motherboards just using this one, all right, and I have a lot of other USBs, but I actually, due to the consistency with this one, I've been favoring it. I'll probably have the link down below in case somebody's interested in purchasing this to use. All right, let's go ahead. All right, folks. So using a search engine, in this case, I'm using Google. You're going to search for the motherboard H610i. I don't think there's a DDR5 version, but put DDR4 in there. That should return this. And you want to click on this support right here, okay? There's another one up here. We don't want that. We want this one. And just so you're aware, in a moment we'll grab the BIOS file, but there's these other headers here: CPU support, manual support list. Clicking on support, CPU support, you usually can see what BIOS file certain CPUs are good for, right? And there's kind of a glitch here. Yeah, they've screwed this up. All the 12th gen should have been good with the original BIOS. And somewhere in there, they updated the BIOS to probably up to F22 or higher now. So this is normally where you would go. So in this case, we're going to have to go look at the BIOS file. And there are 8 BIOS files in here. So we have F4. You may have noticed that. I always read all these, improve Intel XMP. So this is all good stuff. F5, which I actually have the i9-12900KS, so one needed that BIOS update to be able to run that, and that was like the last 12th gen. F6 added the capability for 13th gen, and this is always kind of goofy how they have this in here. F20, states pretty much the same thing, right? Now, you see this, please make sure Intel VMD driver's updated. All right, so you're going to have to do that separately if you're going to run 13th gen. Now, this is the same kind of thing that you'll see with ASUS. So you do want to do that. This is, sorry, if you're going to be running RAID, right? So I can't say that I have updated this too often, but if you're going to run RAID, then that would be a concern. If you're not, you probably could get away with not updating it. It's up to you folks. Now we see other stuff in here. Issues with 3060 graphics cards. I've seen this in a few places. But the reason to read these is to see, hey, do I really need to do the BIOS update? If your shit is running good, don't mess with it, okay? If you have a 12th gen, and you're not planning on upgrading to 13th, probably best not to update it. Now, if you're going to resell this on eBay or something, you might want to update to the most newest BIOS, all right? That might make it a better selling point. Because buying this now, if you buy this currently on Amazon, you get F4, right? And you see a lot of BIOS updates. All right, let's go ahead and download this file. I've blabbed long enough. There'll probably be a complaint or two about that. So I downloaded the file. We're using Microsoft Edge. You can see that shows up here. If I clicked on this folder, that brings this up. You could also go, to this PC, click downloads, and there's the file, okay? right mouse click, then left mouse click, extract all. We are using, I think this is Windows 10. So you will extract all. And in here, folks, is your file, okay? We're just going to copy this file over to our thumb drive. Now, I told you all about my thumb drive. And after this clicks, I'll show you the properties of the thumb drive. I click properties. You can see FAT32. You can also see that there's not that much room on this. I have a bunch of files on here. Personally, I recommend that you have a completely clean BIOS, or excuse me, completely clean USB. I think that's in your best interest. Now, people say practice what you preach. Maybe, at some point I'll start doing that in these videos. All right, so we have the file. Let's go ahead and go back to our computer. All right, so thumb drive. This type of thumb drive goes in like so. And then we'll come over here. And, of course, our camera stand needs adjustment. All right. So we want to go to Q-Flash, or you could hit F9 on your keyboard. And update BIOS. And then there's that file we talked about. Now notice you can see all the other folders. And I don't know where this came from, but you can see another file there. So hence why it's good to have these things completely cleaned off. Are you sure you want to update BIOS? Yes. Now, folks, make sure the weather looks good outside. Last thing you want to do is have a tornado coming through, hurricane, something's going to cause the power to go out. If everything looks good, hey, go ahead and press to start. In order to blah, 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 it's going to restart, right? So usually from this point on, folks, it takes 6 to 8 minutes. And so I'm going to leave this recording because I want you guys to see every second of it. And, honestly, except for pausing the camera a couple times, this is basically about how long it's going to take you to do this, all right? So you can see it's moving along. Now we're at 56%. Yeah, the reason I brought up the weather, folks, is, if you don't have a dual BIOS motherboard and it does, you do have some kind of issue while you are updating your BIOS, then potentially you could end up bricking your motherboard, and that's not a good thing. And we're almost done, folks. Yeah, this should reboot a couple times at the end. So you can see we're rebooting, and we're back in. Now, over here, folks, you see the BIOS version F23. And this would not be complete if I didn't tell you, look at that, XMP has disabled itself. So you might wonder, gosh, my computer's running ever so slightly slower, right? So you would want to hit that again. Now, if you had multiple drives in here, you might also find that the original one is not the original one that you had as the drive to boot to is no longer listed as number one. So you may have to mess with that. But I don't have any drives installed. That USB is actually the one that we did the BIOS update with. So thanks for checking out the video, folks. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.